Hey guys, so I think it's been a little while since I shared a library haul on here. I did one back in the beginning of March, I think, but I did it on my Patreon. I shared a reading vlog, I shared a bit of a library haul, and today I have a lot of books to share with you. So I thought I would share all the books I have out from the library right now for myself that I did not read in March, that I'll be sharing in my March wrap-up, and that are not on my April TBR. And there's quite a few books here. So yeah. And I've said this before, but I feel like it bears repeating because people often ask me. I do not get through all of the books that I request. I kind of see the library as expanding my bookshelf. It gives me more options to mood read within the library books, I guess. Because sometimes I really want to read a book when I request it, but by the time it comes in, because I get books from all over my province, I'm kind of no longer in the mood. So these are in no particular order, and a few of these are ones that I did share in my library haul over on Patreon, but most of them are new. So where do I begin? Okay, well, I have this one. This is Mark of the Thief by Jennifer A. Nielsen, and this is a series of hers that is a YA series that I know nothing about. Someone asked me a while ago if I had read it, and I said no. And I did read a little bit about it and thought I would give it a try. This is something to do with Julius Caesar and some kind of magic. And I think that Jennifer A. Nielsen is a very diverse author. She does great historical fiction for middle grade, and I liked the trilogy part of her Ascendance series. And so I feel like this sounds like it's a little bit more like the Ascendance series. This is a runaway slave, stolen magic, a war to bring an empire to its knees. I'm not sure how long the series is, but this is number one. And then I got something very different for me. I got The Silent Governess by Julie Clausen, and the reason I got this out is because I am part of the beginnings of a book club with a bunch of Christian booktubers, and this was one of the options for March, and it didn't get chosen, but I had requested a couple of the options just in case. Like, I wanted to request them early enough in case they didn't come in. So I had requested this one, but this one didn't win. So I will most likely not read this one. My only thing that I like about it is that we share our last name. Oh, okay. This is Lights Out by Natalie Walters. And I don't remember why I requested this one. This is Christian romantic suspense. I know I requested some physical books of books that I had been approved for on NetGalley. And so it makes me wonder if this was one of those ones, because I've just been struggling with my ebook reading, so I might have requested it for that purpose. This one says, CIA analyst Bryn Taylor developed a new program to combat terrorism, and she invited members of foreign intelligence agencies to America to foster cooperation between countries. Now one of them, Egyptian spy Remen Raid, is missing. Oh yes, this is diverse. This one is A Most Clever Girl. This is a novel of an American spy. And I would like to study espionage a little bit here in the future. So there is some, I would think there might still be some on here. I also got some nonfiction about spies out, and this one sounded very interesting. It's a thrilling novel of love, loyalty, and espionage, based on the incredible true story of Elizabeth Bentley, a Cold War double agent spying for Russia and the United States. And that has just always fascinated me. I would be a terrible spy, but I'm still very intrigued. Now, this book is one that I have heard a lot of hype and raving about, and it is Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. Oh, it's The Overland Trail, 1853. Naomi May never expected to be widowed at age 20. Oh, but then she goes west, and on the trail she forms an instant connection with John Lowry. I wonder what's going to happen. Yeah, I probably won't read this one. I've heard so many good things that I kind of get FOMO. But honestly, I don't think it would be for me. My throat's already getting sore, and I left my tea over there. Okay, let's pick up this one here. This is called The Morning Gift by Eva, I don't know how to say her last name. I heard about this book, Thundering Elephants, from Amy. And if you would like just sitting and drinking your tea, talking to a friend about books, that is what Amy's channel feels like. So definitely check her out. This is it says YA. I don't remember what she said. I just know that she had recently read it and it wasn't normally her kind of book, but she liked this one. It says Ruth lives happily in a magnificent city of Vienna. Then the Nazis invade and her world is turned upside down. So we'll see. So many options. And I did leave some room in my TBR for this month. So if there are some from here that you feel like I should definitely put on my TBR for April or try to squeeze in, let me know. This one I did talk about in my TBR video. This is the second book in the Spy family series. I still don't know what that X is doing. I need to figure it out. It's where a spy has a, what's the word I'm looking for? He's got like this operation thing that he has to do, and he needs to get married and adopt a child, and he gets married to an assassin and adopts a telepath without realizing it, and she's adorable. I haven't read book 1, but hopefully in April. Then I've got another manga. This is A Silent Voice. I think I heard Murphy talking about this one actually. I don't know anything about it. I just kind of get sucked into like the covers and the cute illustrations. I'm not a graphic novel person per se. I find I struggle a bit with them, but I'm trying. And I feel the same way about manga, but I can learn, right? Then I have a teeny little book here. It's super skinny. This is The Freedom of Self-Forgetfulness by Timothy Keller. A friend of mine, one of our pastor's wives, often talks about this. It's more like an essay. I'm actually surprised they sell this as a book. I should probably put this on my like definitely read list because it's 42 pages, 44 pages, but the font is like you're an 8-year-old or a 6-year-old reading here, so it's should be a quick read. I think it says The Path to True Christian Joy, but it's hard to tell with all the stickers everywhere. Then I have The Life-Giving Parent by Sally and Clay Clarkson. I have read this book before and it's been a few years, so I thought I would try it again. I feel like this book is a little bit oversized. I thought maybe I got the large print or something, but nope. I just find them inspiring. Sally has a very gentle approach to parenting, which I do not naturally have, but I feel like she's a bit like my mentor. I listen to her podcast and I'm learning, and I appreciate her focus on Christ and raising up her kids to bring glory to him. So I got this one out. Okay, I honestly can't remember if I got this one for me or my kids or what this is. It's an illustrated edition of A World Lit Only by Fire, the Medieval Mind and the Renaissance, Portrait of an Age. What? I don't even know what this is. Okay, I think it's just, oh, Robin Hood dies. I think it's just history. See if you can actually see what's going on here. Different things throughout medieval history. It's definitely not for my kids. I mean, my daughter would probably really like it. She loves this kind of thing, but oh, and it's got the option of pictures. I feel like you need more pictures per page. I probably won't read this one. Oh yes, I shared these two for sure in my Patreon vlog because the illustrations are so adorable. My thundering elephants are back. These are manga classics, and I've got Jane Eyre and Anne of Green Gables, and like, look at those adorable covers. I do not really enjoy the Jane Eyre book. I do enjoy Anne of Green Gables, but I totally requested these because of the covers. And unfortunately, the inside illustrations are black and white. It I feel like brings it down a little bit, but like still just as adorable. So I should probably try to read one of these this month too. I think this might just be increasing my TBR for the month. Another one I shared then is Glasstown Game. This is the imaginary world of the Brontes. This is a graphic novel of their imaginary world that they made. And in contrast, very sharp contrast, I'm not a fan of these illustrations, which I'm intrigued by the Glasstown Game. But the illustrations bring this down to me. Then I've got Maisie Dobbs. I've heard quite a bit about this. This is by Jacqueline Winspear. I believe this is a mystery story. Maisie Dobbs got her start as a maid in an aristocratic London household when she was 13. So she became an investigator, and this sounds totally up my alley. I should probably read this one too. I'm looking for more really good mystery series, and you guys have been recommending what sound like some really good ones. I just need to make the effort to read them. So I'll also add that to my pile. Like maybe it's like a runner-up TBR. If I get my TBR done, then I'll like go on to these other ones. This one I had a couple of, actually I have quite a few here that I requested for middle grade March, and I didn't get the chance to put them on my interactive TBR or anything. One of them is Catherine's War. This one is a graphic novel about a girl, Rachel Cohen, discovering her passion, photography, but it's under the Nazi regime. I could probably read this like really quickly. But what I often do with graphic novels is I get my daughter to proof them, because she can tell me if they're like really good, then I'll read it, because I don't love the graphic novel format, whereas she really enjoys it. And if she just finds it mediocre, then I know it's a mediocre story, but then the graphic novel portion for me will kind of like bring it down. So I'll see what she says on that one. This is one that she did read. It is Witches of Brooklyn, and it is kind of, the back looks hilarious. I'll show you right away. Could there really be witches in Brooklyn? Effie's aunt are weird, like really weird, really weird. Does that mean they could be magic? Does that mean she could be magic? Life is about to get much more interesting. I like her aunts. They look very interesting. So my daughter did read this one, and she said it was kind of just mediocre from what I remember, so probably won't read it unless I so desire before it goes back. Then yes, this was kind of my middle grade stack. Actually, let's go to these two. These are also two graphic novels that I got my daughter to proofread for me, or I don't know, what would it be called? You know, like when you, yeah, she's trying to get her opinion so I know what I should do. This is Pilu of the Woods. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. The illustrations are definitely what sucked me in. They're adorable, but unfortunately she said the book was just meh. So that's too bad. And then there's also Little Witches, which is a play off of Little Women, and the illustrations aren't spectacular. And apparently the book was just mediocre as well, so I probably won't get to that one. Then I have A Wish in the Dark. This one is set somewhere in Asia. No? Oh, maybe this is, it's a Thai-inspired fantasy world. That's right. It's a twist on Les Mis, and is a fast-paced adventure that explores the difference between law and justice. Oh, that sounds really cool, and I know, I want to say that it was Anne from Elizabeth Ann Reads that mentioned this book. But yeah, probably won't get to it. Like, we are on March 29th as I'm filming this, so my desire to read middle grade books is kind of like going downhill right now, but if I feel like picking one up in the next little bit, I will. And this is also another really beautiful cover. This one's called Long Lost by Jacqueline West. It says, they would share the lie half and half. They would keep yet another secret safely between them. One of them the lock and the other one a key. Spine-tingling brew of ghosts and half-forgotten mysteries. Once there were two sisters who did everything together, but only one of them disappeared. Ooh, that sounds like eerie and interesting at the same time. This one is Never After, the 13th Fairy. So it's, yeah, definitely got some like fairy tale vibes going on. So that one. Then I've got When Things Get Dark. This is a short story collection that is inspired by Shirley Jackson. So I'm assuming they've got like her kind of like gothic horror vibes. Who is all in here? Let's see. People that I've never really heard of. Oh. Okay, I don't think I've heard of any of these authors, so it's interesting. I think this one is actually due back like today, so I'll have to see if I can re-request it and see if I can get a few of these in, because I like Shirley Jackson's books or stories for the most part. Oh yes, okay, I do have two more espionage books. So I've got Codename Lise. This is the true story of the woman who became World War II's most highly decorated spy, which sounds very interesting to me. And then I also have Agent Sonia, Moscow's most daring wartime spy. And this one sounds so interesting to me because, oh yeah, because I feel like if I were to be a spy, in some ways I'd be so terrible, but in other ways, like, who would guess that I was a spy, right? And that's how she is. It says, if you had visited the quaint English village of Great Rollright in 1945, you might have spotted a thin, dark-haired, and unusually elegant woman emerging from a stone farmhouse called the Firs and climbing onto her bicycle. She had 3 children and a husband, Len, who worked in the nearby aluminum factory. Although if this is British, then I would have to say aluminium factory. She was friendly but reserved and spoke English with a faint foreign accent. She baked excellent cakes. Her neighbors in the Cotswolds knew little about her. What they did not know was that the woman they called Mrs. Burton was really Colonel Ursula, I'm not going to try to say her last name, of the Red Army, a dedicated communist, a decorated Soviet military intelligence officer, and a highly trained spy who had conducted espionage operations in China, Poland, and Switzerland before coming to Britain on Moscow's order. So that sounds really fascinating to me. I would just be worried that it would be a little bit dry, but I'm very intrigued. Okay, here's a random assortment on this pile. I have The Lazy Genius Way, Embrace What Matters, Ditch What Doesn't, and Get Stuff Done. I think this is my second time requesting this book in a very short time period. I didn't get to it last time, and I used to listen to her podcast a little bit, and from what I remember, a lot of it was very straightforward. It made sense to me, but I wanted to like skim through this book and see if there were some things I was missing or had forgotten or could use now. Now that I have more kids than when I first kind of was listening to her podcast, there might be more things I could pull out. Okay, and then someone must have recommended this to me. I don't remember where I heard of it. This one's called A Morbid Taste for Bones by Ellis Peters. I don't remember anything except that this is like set in 1137 here. Oh yeah, Ellis Peters is a pseudonym of Edith Mary Pargeter? I don't know how to say her last name. Historical mystery. Okay, yeah, so someone obviously recommended this in the when I was asking for mystery recommendations. And I'm assuming this one too. The first Inspector Sloane novel, The Religious Body. I just don't like the cover, but you know, whatever. So this is, what year was this one printed? 1966. Sister Anne, said the Mother Superior, unperturbed, died on Wednesday evening sometime after supper, probably in the corridor leading from the great hall to the kitchens. Her body was put in a broom cupboard and later thrown down the cellar steps. But who would want to kill a cloistered nun? I need to have like a major focused time on some mystery books. I really didn't do that in March, which is unfortunate. This is Poem Making, Ways to Begin Writing Poetry. And because I like poetry, I thought I would skim through this. Bunch of different figures of speech, other forms of poetry, etc. And speaking of poetry, this one is a poetry book. How to Love the World, Poems of Gratitude and Hope. And I love the cover. So this is by, oh, it's edited by James Cruz. Oh, okay, so it's just a random assortment of people. I've never heard of any of these poets. That's unusual. Yeah, like seriously, I've never heard of any of these poets. So I'll have to read some of these poems and see how they are. And then I did get Silence of the Bones out because I was going to try to get on Tia's book club for the month of March, but the month got away from me and I didn't get it. So I kind of feel like I probably won't read it without the pressure of that book club. And then I also got out Pony, which was the buddy read for the middle grade March, and I didn't get to that. Though to be honest, this one wasn't that interesting to me. I am not a animal person for the most part. Like I noticed a while ago that my dad, he loves movies that have animals in them. If they have an animal in it, he wants to watch it. And I know some people that if a book has an animal in it, they want to read it. And I'm like less interested if there's animals, or like if the animal is the focus. Okay, a friend mentioned that I need to read this book. I didn't know that David Platt had a new book out. This is Something Needs to Change, A Call to Make Your Life Count in a World of Urgent Need. So I haven't read anything new from him in 10 years, so I have no idea. Haven't been following him, so we'll see. Okay, and I got this book out and I was like, why would I request this book? Because I don't like Margaret Atwood's writing. But then I realized it's a poetry book. And I actually really, I like this cover. It's a poetry book, so I can try some Margaret Atwood poetry. Unfortunately, university has scarred me for life. I don't want to read any of her novels ever again. But I can try poetry. I can try. And then this is a book that I've heard nothing but good things about. The Meaning of Marriage by Timothy Keller. So many ladies from my church have been talking about this book lately, so I thought I should get it out and I should probably put it somewhere where I can prioritize it. It's a bit large for a nonfiction, honestly. It's pretty thick. It's almost 300 pages. The pages must just be really thick, but I really like what I have read from him. Okay, we got another middle grade. My Jasper June. Not sure why I requested this one, but I also like the cover. I'm reading the inside flap here, and I don't really understand what it's about. Maybe I'll get my daughter to read it. She's at the point now, she's 11, where I've kind of helped. I read so many books before her, kind of up until she was 10 or 11, and now she can go through them faster than I can, so I kind of like her to go through the middle grade books first and tell me if I will like them or if I should spend my time reading them. Okay, couple left. Once Upon a Wardrobe by Patty Callahan. This is another one of hers about Lewis, right? So she wrote Becoming Mrs. Lewis, which I was not really a fan of, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I don't really know. Megs Devonshire is brilliant with numbers and equations on a scholarship at Oxford and dreams of solving the greatest mysteries of physics. Ugh, sounds boring to me. Then she finds Narnia. Okay, I'm not sure. It sounds too, like, it's obviously not contemporary. I don't know what the word is. It doesn't sound like something I would enjoy, even though I know lots of people have. Okay, I've got three books left here. The next one is Help I'm Drowning. This is Sally Clarkson's second time on this list here today. This is Weathering the Storms of Life with Grace and Hope. And she just came out with this book last year? Yeah, 2021. And I feel like I'm sometimes at the point in life when I need to read this, and this is a really good time because last week our little foster kids came back, and if one feels like they're drowning, it's about a week after you get new kids slash old kids again, because the honeymoon phase is worn off and you're tired, and this would be a good one to read. Let's put that one over there. And then this is a novel. Okay, this one is This Might Hurt. I don't know what this is. A thrilling novel about two sisters both trapped, one in the clutches of a cult, the other in a web of her own lies. Welcome to Wisewood. We'll keep your secrets if you keep ours. Ooh. Yes, okay. I think this one had a different cover when I was looking it up, because this doesn't look familiar. But, I mean, obviously I was sucked in at the word cult, so I'm there for that. Now this one, I just love the font. When this type of font is used, I'm interested. Except here's the thing. I can't say that word very well. Let me just struggle through this. My brain can say it. My tongue cannot say it. And I know that I've said this on here before, and I'm not alone in this. A Peculiar Combination. I did it. By Ashley Weaver. So I think this is a mystery. Yes, first rule, don't lose your concentration. Second rule, don't make mistakes. Third rule, don't get caught. So it's Elliot McDonnell and her family earning their living outside the law, breaking into homes of the rich and picking the locks of their safes. So I'm interested. I like the, not necessarily like the actual artwork on the cover, but I like the font, and I'm interested. Let's see here. Oh, this is a new one too. It's 2021. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on my like second TBR here. Let me know what you would like to see me read, if there's like some really good ones here, especially if I didn't seem that interested, because sometimes I just need someone to tell me or remind me why I got a book out, or tell me what it was that was so good about it kind of idea. But honestly, I just don't have time to read all of these books. I think I currently have 123 books out for my library right now, and our maximum is 100. So, that's too many. But I have a problem. Thankfully, they're not all for me. My kids and my husband actually have some out too, so it's not just me. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I always have so much fun hanging out with you.